in the Oldies Attic. We play the best music from the 50s through the 80s. Lots and lots of memories. And you can win some lottery tickets as well. Take us wherever you go. 1160 WCCS Radio online.
This is Steve Race in the Beatles recording studio in London, where the latest Beatle record is at this moment being built up. With some friends in to help the atmosphere, this is quite an occasion.
Trajan, Nicole, happy Global Beatles Day.
Aww.
How about that?
Did you know that today is Global Beatles Day?
No, I always learn something when I come over here.
Yeah, listen to this. Hang on.
Okay.
We just missed the end of it. That was John Lennon talking. On June 25th, this date, in 1967, the Beatles did the BBC show Our World, the very first multinational satellite production broadcast live across all the world. So it was a big deal. It's a big deal. We ever went all satellite all over the world. 400 million people watched it, and they wrote that song, All You Need Is Love, the Beatles song, All You Need Is Love. They wrote it. John Lennon wrote it just for that performance.
I'm glad you explained that a little bit more because I was thinking the bug beetle.
You were-
When you first said it, yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my head. But that makes a little bit more sense.
Or the Volkswagen Beatles, whatever.
Yeah.
There are Beatles everywhere, but there's all kinds of things going on in this world.
Yeah,
My goodness.
he's a little young.
Yeah.
Trajan, do you have a favorite Beatles song?
Yesterday's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that.
He knows them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Beatles. Yeah.
I like it. All right, Nicole, what's yours? Favorite
All I
Beatles
need is
song?
love.
Oh, you cheater. You cheater. My goodness. Trajan is with us, Nicole as well, Indiana Borough. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm, the best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Nicole, why did you bring Trajan along today?
Well, Trajan has been working for close to almost going up on 2 years now on this comp plan, right?
Yeah.
And we're finally coming to the end of it, and we're going to have a big open house for the community, the residents to come in and share their thoughts and just to get an update. And so that's why I brought Trajan. He's going to tell you about the open house and what's been happening for the last year and all the information they're gathering.
It's actually a pretty big deal, isn't it, Trajan?
Yeah, it is. So I think Nicole, she explained it pretty well, but, kind of go into a little bit more detail. The way we approached the plan is kind of a systems-based approach. So looking at 5 different systems throughout our community. For example, one of them is healthy neighborhoods. Another one is transportation, connection, and mobility. So it's kind of looking at these overarching systems of our community and seeing how we can make them work most efficiently.
So those are 2. What are the other 3?
The other 3, did I bring them with me? I did not bring them with me. I do not remember specifically off the top of my head.
That's okay.
One of them is anchor institutions, so looking how to better work with IUP, the hospital.
I was going to say
that.
the corridor connecting the IUP and downtown. I think businesses.
Downtown revitalization. That's kind of a aspect of one of them.
Yeah.
But there's specific areas. But other than those 3, I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Well, those are important enough, and I'm sure that when you study these over the course of a couple of years, you begin to notice trends, and obviously there are things that you say, wow, this is really working well, and things where you say, this isn't working as well as it could. Yeah. So then you come up with this event.
Right, yeah. So the open house is kind of a time to show the progress that we made. Last summer we did a lot of public outreach, going to different events, talking to people. So it's going to include all of that, and then our behind-the-scenes work, thinking about the system as a whole, like you said, kind of studying it, seeing what's working, what's not working, what we want to keep, what we want to change, things like that.
There was multiple surveys done throughout the year, surveys that people took, giving ideas. And again, it's a guide too. It's going to be a document that we have. So if businesses or new developers want to come into town, and they would see our vision, they would see the residents' vision, the borough's vision of, we want to keep the walkable, sustainable, what we have here. Again, the drive-throughs are, we don't want to see major drive-throughs in town. And
Sure.
so it's a guide to businesses like developers. would see that.
Yeah, and to kind of go along with that, we also, on the back end, after we figured out all of our systems, we put together 30 key redevelopment or catalytic redevelopment sites that we want to focus on throughout the borough, and that's the paper I have here, so I have a couple examples of that. But what we did is we clumped them into focus areas. So that would be the Oakland Avenue corridor, the Wayne Avenue corridor, the Community University Connection, and then Central Business District. And kind of some examples of these sites within those would be like the 13th Street intersection. That one's not really working as well as it could. It's kind of weird angles, all that stuff. So that would be one place we want to kind of revitalize, kind of rethink how we're doing that. Another,
You're talking 13th and Oakland?
yeah,
there?
13th and Oakland, yeah. Another example, pretty similar to that in terms of an intersection would be the five-spoke intersection at Locust and Wayne,
Yeah.
right off of campus. That one, very confusing, so kind of trying to think of how to do those things better.
When you're coming into that, you always have to slow down on when, you're coming in past the KCAC, and then,
Yeah.
we want to make sure they know they're coming into this town, this vibrant town. We want to make it pop or something.
Sure.
Yeah, and those are
Some
both
good ideas.
Yeah, and those are both kind of transportation oriented. We're also looking at vacant businesses downtown, places where we want to see redeveloped. Some examples of that would be like the Brown Hotel, Sheets, Campus Sheets. That's nobody there anymore. So seeing who we can get in there, that would, help our community.
Gosh, you mentioned the Brown Hotel. I hadn't thought of it in
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
And
We've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
You even forget that it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like center, like right off the center of our town.
It's a great old building, too.
Yeah.
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 And then another focus we were talking about as we were walking over here is park space. In the borough, there's definitely a lack of park space outside of Memorial Park and McGregor Park. So
Green
looking at
spaces,
ways, green spaces, looking at ways to improve those and then bring in more options as we move forward.
Yeah, yeah. When you think about developing a downtown, and not just downtown as we think of it, Philadelphia Street, that whole neighborhood,
Right.
but also the surrounding neighborhoods as well. It's interesting that you have to go through all of the different studies. Who owns the building?
Yeah.
What kind of shape is the building in? Is the building still viable?
Yeah.
All of those different things. So here's a property that maybe someone can occupy, but before you determine that, you have to determine if that's a really valid property.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's actually a spreadsheet we've been keeping with all that information so that going forward, working with DI and their Economic Vitality Committee, having all that information makes it a lot easier when a new developer or a new business wants to come into Indiana. We already have all that information available to them in regards of, lot size, what the place is zoned, like you said, the condition of the building.
Yeah.
So having all that information readily available just kind of expedites that process and makes it a little bit easier to do some development in
That whole
Indiana.
database going there.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of planning
yeah, a lot of
involved
planning going on.
in the last year. So it's,
So this event is going to be when?
It's going to be on July 11th, and we're going to hold it from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's going to be all day.
like an open house.
Yeah, an open house. And the idea of it is that it'll work with people's schedule. If they have to come after work, before work, they can get a time in between the day on lunch. You can stop in, and it's mainly self-guided. So we're going to have posters, different surveys available. So you can just come in, take a
tell
look
the
at what we've been
location.
doing. Yeah. But that's kind of the purpose of it. And then it's going to be at 734 Philadelphia Street. And the best way to think about that is directly right next to the Artist Hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
cafe there. So it's on the south side of Philadelphia Street, right off the corner of 8th and Philadelphia. You can't miss it. It's the big one with the big open windows. It kind of curves into the doorway. And the idea of is that building's actually been vacant for a long time. So hopefully, seeing that foot traffic come in and out will kind of catch people's eye, thinking, "Oh, what's going on in there?"
Yeah.
And then hopefully they'll stop by.
Yeah, it's an interesting location too because its proximity to the Artist's Hand and what it took to make that building number one sound again, and number two to get a thriving business in there.
Yeah.
That's a great example for folks of what
Yeah.
can be done
Right.
with some of these buildings. So, I'd love to see us get roundabouts in this town, but
that's on the
talking
survey.
about those.
You'll
Yeah,
have
talking
to-
about those intersections at 13th and Locust. That's kind of our idea.
it
Yeah,
would work there. It would work out here at East Pike. I mean, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, and it's something, it's different. So, some people, or sometimes people, they're not really ready for that change. But I think it would definitely be
I
something.
think it would slow people down.
It'd be
coming into
beneficial.
town, and with the college right there, especially on the down there on the
Right.
Sheets campus.
There's such a great advantage. There.
Right, and it gives, a place a little bit of identity. I think because of how different it is, when you go somewhere and you see that, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a roundabout, just something different. So
Yeah.
it would kind of help us working towards that end as well.
Yeah, I've been lately in a few towns that have roundabouts, and they're so much more efficient in traveling. You're not sitting in a traffic light waiting for no reason for the light to change. The traffic moves through so smoothly. And you're right, Nicole. The nature of the roundabout makes people slow down a little bit. You're still moving though, and you're actually moving through quicker, but you're moving through slower at the same time. It doesn't seem to make sense, but that's perfect. That's perfect. All right, boys and girls, let's get through this thing and recommend the roundabout.
Yeah. So then kind of like Nicole also said, looking forward to next steps. This is kind of, we're winding down the project, so this is going to be one of our last things. We have a couple of key dates coming up in terms of steering committee meetings, planning commission meetings, but we're looking to have this thing adopted and finalized by October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So kind of got a couple more months, but like I said, this is more wrapping it up, kind of getting that last bit of feedback, making the final edits, and putting it out there for people.
So one more chance for people to come.
Yep.
And you'd like anybody to come.
Yeah,
right?
anybody. Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't have to just be borough residents. I mean, Indiana County.
And anybody who uses the town.
Yeah, we've definitely realized that throughout our public engagement, It's nice to get the feedback from people that live in this community, but especially a community like Indiana where there are so many people coming in for different events and stuff like that. You definitely want to get a broader response in terms of feedback and what people want to see, so that it's not just specific to Indiana. It's more, more encompassing in terms of the whole county.
July 11th, from what time to what time?
11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
7:34 Philly.
Yep.
Beautiful.
You got it.
Beautiful.
Stop by.
What else are we talking about, Nicole? Anything else?
I just want to remind people, we've been having tons of events downtown, third Thursday, and that our parking garage from 5 to 7 is free. So if you're coming into town, going to dinner, just remember, pull into the parking garage 5 to 7. It's free Monday through Friday.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice. Beautiful. Anything else at all?
I think everything's going good.
That's a whole bunch of good stuff. Though.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. To both of you. Thanks for coming in.
No
Trajan.
problem.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Indiana in the Morning. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. By the way, Something is the best Beatles song. Boomer Sports next, brought to you by S&T Bank, People Forward Banking.
Hi, I'm Garrett Greek, your local mortgage banker at S&T Bank. The sunshine is back. Let us help you find the perfect home to enjoy the sights and sounds of summer. Visit me at one of our Indiana County offices to learn more about our mortgage options. You can also visit us at stbank.com or call us at 800-325-2265. S&T Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Bart Winkler with a Sports Minute. Another year, another Stanley Cup raised by a team that plays in the United States and not Canada, as the Florida Panthers get past the Edmonton Oilers in Game 7 2-1. For Florida, it's a night 30 years in the making. A team winning their first Stanley Cup. For Edmonton, it's disappointment. But with Connor McDavid and company, expect them to give Canada a decent shot at finally breaking that curse, albeit next year. I'm Bart Winkler.